What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today we have an update about the X-Men appearing in Avengers Kang Dynasty and an update about Fantastic Four casting. This is coming today from Marvel Studios. So directly from the source. If you've been following a couple of the videos or if you've just been following entertainment regarding Marvel in general, you might know that right now they are still doing press and interviews for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Well, luckily for us, Jeff Loveness, the writer of Quantumania, is also writing Avengers Kang Dynasty. We're lucky because during these interviews, many people know this fact and keep asking Jeff Loveness about Kang Dynasty, trying to get any type of details they can about the movie from him. Now, of course, we know that Kevin Feige has a sniper pointed at everyone's head that is doing interviews, and most people from Marvel Studios are trained about what to say, what they can and what they can't say, but luckily for us, we still are getting a little bit of information about the film. This time, we are getting some information about whether or not the X-Men are going to appear in the Kang Dynasty or not, or if they are even going to appear in the Multiverse Saga. Yes, Marvel Studios has begun to tease mutants or the X-Men in the MCU. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that the new X-Men and the new mutants are going to be coming in Phase 5 or Phase 6. They could be saving them for Phase 7. The next saga could indeed be a mutant saga. And what Marvel Studios writer Jeff Loveness had to say kind of hints towards that. In a recent interview with comicbook.com, when asked about key connections with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men coming in Avengers Kang Dynasty, this is what Jeff Loveness said. "No, I think all that stuff is pretty far away. I mean, I know they're making Fantastic Four, but that's its own thing. So no. I mean, look, I'm the biggest X-Men guy in the world. No. I think that's being saved for a bit. But, you know, these Avengers are in trouble. They got a lot going on with Kang. They got more than enough to handle. So it's not looking like any new X-Men characters or any new mutants or Fantastic Four members are going to be in the Kang Dynasty. But this is what they have kind of been hinting at before. Again, they're not trying to give too much away about how the Kang Dynasty is going to be, how Avengers Secret War is going to be, and everything else in between them. But at this point in time, we essentially know that the Kang Dynasty is very much going to be the next Avengers film. It's going to be a movie about the Avengers and the heroes from our universe, the main MCU Earth 616 universe, going up against Kang the Conqueror. This is not the big multiverse film. That is what Secret Wars is for, and that is apparently what is going to happen after the Kang Dynasty. We've had a few reports and rumors over the past few months stating that everything that happens after the Kang Dynasty could possibly take place in other universes. Of course, we'll see things happening in our universe, but a good majority of what we could see could take place in other universes, watching other heroes gather together to go against Kang and fight him in their universes. Then we'll start to see our heroes and other heroes start branching out to other universes to try and form a giant Avengers team, a multiversal heroes team. And this is where we are going to start to see the X-Men. However, like we've mentioned several times on the channel, the X-Men that we see show up in Avengers Secret Wars and anything else that involves the multiverse like Deadpool 3 are going to be the old X-Men from the Fox franchise. Hugh Jackman is already confirmed to be returning, and it's said that Kevin Feige wants the original X-Men to make it to the MCU because they never had a chance to actually be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And since Secret Wars is about universes colliding, well, the Fox X-Men universe is one of those universes, and there are plenty of other that have original X-Men variants in them as well. But don't expect them, apparently, to show up in the Kang Dynasty. It looks like this movie is very much going to be about the Avengers and Kang, and not only that, but it's going to heavily focus on Kang. And in fact, Jeff Loveness compares Kang the Conqueror to Magneto, stating that we're kind of going to be rooting for Kang in Avengers Kang Dynasty and possibly even after that. And keep in mind, Marvel Studios has recently confirmed that we are going to be seeing Kang pop up in other projects before we get to Secret Wars. But in regards to rooting for Kang, this is what Jeff Loveness had to say. But I'm willing to bet that we are going to root for a guy that we've seen stumble and fall, much like Chris Claremont's Magneto from those X-Men comics. That guy loses a lot, and we see how much pain he's been through. And so, by the time he really unleashes his rage, we're on his side, and we kind of get it. So I think we're allowed to have a villain that takes a few shots along the way, as Kang the Conqueror or his variants make their rise. So it looks like we are going to see Kang kind of fail a few times in the MCU before we get to the actual Kang Dynasty, where apparently we're going to root for him, which I am all for because I love Jonathan Majors' portrayal of Kang the Conqueror, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more variants. Now, Jeff Loveness also did say that the Fantastic Four, they're not going to be in the Kang Dynasty either. He said in regards to the Fantastic Four, he probably won't even be using them. And in this interview, he said that they are their own thing. But having said that about the X-Men and the Fantastic Four not being in the Kang Dynasty, keep in mind that Marvel Studios could be misleading us intentionally. It's not deceptive in a bad way, it's so we don't actually know what's going to happen and so everything isn't spoiled, which of course we understand. But we bring this up because, of course, just because they say it doesn't mean it's actually how it's going to happen. A lot of us guessed that Avengers 4 was going to be called Avengers Endgame. Then the Russo brothers came out and said, nope, that's not the title, but lo and behold, it was. So even though the X-Men and the Fantastic Four probably aren't going to be in the Kang Dynasty, there is still a small chance that they could be. And speaking of the Fantastic Four, like I mentioned, we do have a casting update. Not particularly about any specific actor that could be cast for a role in the Fantastic Four, but how Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige are approaching it. Matt Shakman, who is going to be directing the Fantastic Four, in an interview with Deadline, opened up a little bit about the Fantastic Four. Now, a couple of weeks ago, he said in another interview that they have nothing to announce right now, implying that the Fantastic Four have not yet been cast, but in another interview with Deadline, this is what he said. Just to be clear, even if something is getting active or gearing up, could still be weeks or even months before we have our 4 actors, given how thorough Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige are. So Matt Shakman confirms here Kevin Feige is personally overseeing casting for the Fantastic Four, which makes a ton of sense because this is his baby. This is Kevin Feige's passion project, so he's going to be involved in the process a lot. But unfortunately, according to Matt Shakman, it does seem like we are a little bit out from getting an official announcement about who the Fantastic Four cast actually is. But the fact that the studio is so involved and that Kevin Feige is so involved makes us think that the Fantastic Four truly are going to be a major staple of the MCU moving forward. Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm are going to be major characters moving forward in the next saga. They are essentially going to be our Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, our Chris Evans, Captain America, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and so on and so forth. These are going to be major characters moving forward. So the casting process of figuring out who they are, you know, is going to be pretty rigorous, which is a really great thing. And I have to say, I think it's also a good thing that no mutants or the Fantastic Four show up in the Kang Dynasty. That way, Secret Wars is on that bigger scale. If we see the entire multiverse kind of fight and we see the heroes come together in Avengers the Kang Dynasty, then Secret Wars wouldn't be that much different. It wouldn't be that much bigger. But containing the Kang Dynasty to our Avengers team in our universe fighting one or maybe a couple different variants of Kang, that is not only going to be incredibly exciting, but it's going to massively build up the next film. But Marvel Studios knows what they're doing, so we are going to trust them for the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But in the meantime, let us know what you think about no X-Men and no Fantastic Four in the Kang Dynasty. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest MCU news. You can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.